What's up guys, Divide here, and today we're covering all the content available this week in Destiny 2 that you should look at getting some of the stuff done before next week's reset on March 25th, along with the latest Destiny 2 news, the Heresy Act 2, also known as Week 2 of Act 2. It is a fairly short act, so there is only one more week left after this one, before we head into Act 3, the final act to conclude episode Heresy, before moving into Destiny 2 codename Frontiers. So this week is the second week of Act 2, so we will see the continuation of the Heresy story from last week, more hidden secrets and changes to both the Nether and the Court of Blades activities as we advance further with our story quest and unlock new upgrades. We also have the second week of Guardian games continuing, as well as some more minor updates to the game to fix some more bugs and make a few gameplay changes. Hopefully Lord of Wolves doesn't get fixed in this one, because not gonna lie, I'm still enjoying that busted weapon a lot lately. The second week of Act 2 content aside though, we do have another Nightfall and Nightfall weapon in rotation, a new rotation to the dungeons and raids, the exotic mission, as well as a bunch more. Something you guys definitely don't want to miss, so definitely watch to the end. So firstly, starting off, we have the continuation of the Guardian Games event for 2025. This is the second week of Guardian Games, and it is worth bearing in mind that there are only 3 weeks of this event in total, so after this week you will only have one more week. But with Guardian Games, you should still have access to the new Rushdown activity, all of its unique event rewards, as well as the event challenges and the seal that you can guild, so make sure to make progress on those, as they can be quite grindy and you don't want to leave it to the last minute. Next, the featured Nightfall this week should finally be the Lakers Shadows, and if you jump into the Nightfall to grind, although we don't have confirmation on the weapon, the Nightfall weapon that drops should be either the Wild Style GL or the Slammer Sword, so make sure to grind the Grandmaster version of that Nightfall if you are still chasing any Adept God rules of the weapon, as they are on an 8-week rotation, so if you don't do this week, you will be waiting 8 more weeks for each Nightfall weapon to cycle back into rotation. As for the raids in rotation this week, according to the rotations, we should see the return of the Deepstone Crypt raid. Not my favourite raid if I'm being honest, but within this raid you can farm any of the Deepstone Crypt Red Water weapons, as well as the Eyes of Tomorrow exotic rocket launcher, so definitely something to do for the week if you need any of those. But the second raid featured should be the Root of Nightmares, and again, like Deepstone, you can farm any Red Waters that you need from that raid, as well as its exotic weapon that drops from the final boss, so you can farm the boss over and over until you get that exotic weapon to drop. Moving to dungeons, we should see Pit of Heresy again, one of my favourite dungeons of all time, just something that I really like, and although its loot table isn't great, here it is if you're after anything, but to be honest you might want to skip this one. The second dungeon in the rotation is the Ghost of the Deep, not my favourite, but it should be featured, which means you can farm anything you want from that dungeon, including the exotic weapon, which I believe is the Navigator, but also bear in mind that this dungeon will be one of the featured dungeons in the upcoming Rite of the Nine event, so perhaps you can use this time to prepare for a contest mode fight coming up by practicing in Ghost of the Deep on Master difficulty. But if you need anything from those 2 dungeons, now is the time to farm before next week, when they're no longer in rotation. The last ritual activity featured is the exotic mission, which is back to the Operation Seraph Shield, which makes the Revision 0 exotic farmable if you're still after that exotic weapon or its craftable variant. As for the week 7 seasonal challenges, this is your full list of objectives, which includes completing the weekly story quest for this week, as well as getting a ton of glaive final blows, completing augmentations in the Court of Blades, sword or glaive final blows within the court activity, unlocking the ritual weapon, some taking kills in gambit or ritual activities, and a few others, all of which you can find on this list here, so definitely something to keep you busy during week 7 of episode Heresy. Lastly though, here is your Lost Sector schedule for the week if you are going to farm any exotic armor. Otherwise, that's all I have for you guys today. This has been your This Week in Destiny PSA, another busy and grindy week, so have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next video soon.